Good evening, I'm Cynthia McFadden. We begin with breaking news, a secretly recorded tape at a Mitt Romney fundraiser with content so controversial that it has led the Republican presidential nominee to speak out tonight. The tape, recorded by an anonymous source earlier this year, captures the presidential hopeful musing that nearly half of American voters are living off the government dole and believe they are victims. ABC's David Muir has the latest on this developing story.
Tonight, Mitt Romney in California walking up to a podium with a smile, though his campaign is in crisis mode this evening.
Good evening. I understand that there's a video that's been on the internet for a few weeks that has attracted some attention.
That video, posted in snippets by left-leaning magazine Mother Jones, shows Mitt Romney there in the circle in partially blurred-out video speaking to wealthy donors at a fundraiser after he clinched the nomination. In the video, Romney appears to say that nearly half of Americans believe they're victims, and goes on to say that his job is not to worry about those people.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. But it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what.
He says those people pay no income tax, and because of that, his message of low taxes doesn't connect.
And so my job is not to worry about those people. I'll never convince them that they should take personal responsibility and care for their lives. What I have to do is convince the 5 to 10% in the Senate that are independent.
Romney goes on to explain how he plans to reach some of those voters, some of whom voted for President Obama.
When you say to them, do you think Barack Obama is a failure? They overwhelmingly say no. They like him, but when you say, are you disappointed that his policies haven't worked, they say yes.
And on the political website BuzzFeed tonight, audio from what's believed to be the same fundraiser, a joke from Romney, talking about his father, the one-time governor of Michigan, who was born in Mexico to American parents. But Romney says had he been born to Mexican parents, perhaps he'd have a better chance at winning.
My heritage, my dad, you probably know, was the governor of Michigan and was the head of a car company, but he was born in Mexico. And had he been born of Mexican parents, I'd have a better shot at winning this.
And about those perceptions he was born into a privileged home?
There's a perception that, oh, you were born with a silver spoon, you know, you never had to earn anything and so forth. And frankly, I was born with a silver spoon.
He tells the donors 95% of life is set up for you if you're born in this country. And he even shares the strategy of carefully using his wife, Ann, on the trail.
They use Ann sparingly right now so that people don't get tired of her.
Tonight in California, Romney says whoever released the snippets should release them in their entirety.
By the way, whoever has released the snippets I'd certainly appreciate if they released the whole tape and so we could see all of it.
And about Romney saying he'd never be able to convince some Americans to take personal responsibility for their lives.
And of course, individuals are going to take responsibility for their life, and my campaign is about helping people take more responsibility and becoming employed again, particularly those that don't have work. This whole campaign is focused on getting people jobs again.
The Obama campaign releasing a statement tonight saying it's shocking that a candidate for president of the United States would go behind closed doors and declare to a group of wealthy donors that half the American people view themselves as victims, entitled to handouts, and are unwilling to take personal responsibility for their lives. President Obama had his own moment caught on tape in 2008 at a private fundraiser, during which he said some voters cling to their guns and religion.
It's not surprising then that they get bitter.
Now, 4 years later, it's Romney explaining his own words, just as the campaign was looking to reboot after their convention gave them no bounds, and with the president now leading in many of the key battleground states. Now, as for the person who took that video, David Korn of Mother Jones says the person who was at the fundraiser, took the video, does not work for the Obama campaign or the Democratic Party. And tonight, Governor Romney stood by that 47% argument, saying perhaps he would word it differently, but essentially said people who get help from the government might not like his plans for less government. People who don't pay taxes at all might not like his plan for less taxes. And when he talked about that sliver of independent voters, Cynthia, he talked about the ones who had voted for President Obama before. And he actually said that many of them love the phrase that he's over his head in talking about President Obama. The question is, will they love hearing that phrase said behind closed doors now?